As I left the theater, a man, quite a bit older than me, literally chased me down in the parking lot to ask, "Did you just watch F1? It was," insert expletive, "good. That Brad Pitt can act. Did you like it?" And I must confess, I wasn't totally honest with him, and I told him, sure did. I mean, who am I to ruin his enthusiasm? But I promise I will be totally honest with you in this spoiler-free review of F1, the movie. After decades of being a journeyman race car driver, Sonny Hayes is given an opportunity that seems too good to be true. Race on a Formula One team. There he must not only compete on the track, but also against the young hotshot on his own team, Joshua Pierce. These two opposing forces must either work independently to achieve individual accolades, or join together to reach greatness as a team. But they will soon discover that doesn't happen without sacrifice. F1 the movie is like Top Gun Maverick, if you wished it had 10 times more dad movie elements. Whether it's kicking off the action with classic rock hits from Led Zeppelin and Queen, or plucking the middle-aged unsuccessful man out of his rut to find glory driving race cars, or meeting the beautiful, recently divorced gearhead woman, this movie is a dad fantasy from beginning to end. And I must say, the racing sequences are incredible, using a combination of low angles that accentuate the speed, and POV shots that display the reactionary skill and athleticism required to be an F1 driver. The intense competition is on full display. This is where the film is at its best. Never is there a moment in any of the many races featured that feels fake. Shots of the characters in the cockpit, aerials of the full track, watching from the grandstands. I especially like the little details, like the moments where a driver takes a sharp corner, hitting the black and white rumble strips, the sound design, the shaking camera. It feels like we are in the car, moving at 200 miles an hour. That's cool, and that will be best experienced on the big screen. These amazing scenes in F1 are at odds with the rest of the film. When they aren't racing, F1 feels like a cheesy 80s melodrama wrapped in the brilliant visuals of something like Top Gun Maverick, which this has the same director, Joseph Kosinski. The problem is, where Top Gun Maverick recognized its schlockiness and didn't take itself too seriously, F1 takes itself very seriously, which is hard for us as an audience when you see Brad Pitt look perfect in every scene with an amazingly eclectic and hip wardrobe for someone living in his van. There's a scene early in the film where Javier Bardem is desperate and out of money and must convince down and out Brad Pitt to race again. They're in a laundromat dressed to perfection, discussing how bad their situation is. And I'm just thinking, these guys are so good looking, they should just give up racing and become movie stars. Then there's the battle of the old versus the new, the young versus the old. The film teaches us valuable lessons such as running on a treadmill with an oxygen mask will not prepare you in the same way as running outside with striped pull-up dad socks. Or when you're at a restaurant, don't get on social media, that's just outside noise. And if you want to win over the young crowd, replace the classic rock or Hans Zimmer's dramatic score with some generic hip-hop music. It just feels like this movie is trying to be cool. Brad Pitt breaks out versions of many of his past characters, the intensity of Lieutenant Aldo Raine, the business mind of Billy Beane, and even the charm of Joe Black. This inconsistent performance makes it difficult to understand who this character is. In fact, I don't really care for any of the characters. Javier Bardem, also known as Anton Chigurh, is handcuffed as an uninteresting businessman. And Damson Idris plays a completely generic foil. His only existence is to deliberately contradict Pitt as the protagonist. The only character I enjoyed was Carrie Condon as the car designer, and I think much of her appeal is still carried over from her role in 2022's The Banshees of Inisherin. I don't want to completely condemn this film because I think it can find an audience, and I hope it does. Guys like the one who chased me down in the parking lot. People I assume are casual moviegoers and just want to escape the summer heat and see some intense racing scenes. I didn't want to rain on his parade, and I don't want to discourage anyone else from seeing this film. I hope it does well. I don't even think it's bad. Personally, I just think it's a disappointment. So I will give it 2.5 stars out of 5, which is only average. I definitely think this will be best seen at the theater, specifically the immersive race sequences. For sensitive audiences, this is a pretty safe film with a couple swear words and some romantic implications, but I do wonder if it will be boring for young audiences. audiences, and best for that group of adults who haven't been to the theaters since the aforementioned Top Gun Maverick. Let me know what you think of F1 the movie in the comments below. And if you've gotten this far, you must have kind of enjoyed this review, so please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss any of my future content. Also, you can check out some of my other reviews by clicking on one of these boxes.